Subway service is suspended on several lines, M.T.A. says. Subway passengers were left stranded and broiling on train platforms for more than an hour Friday night on the first day of a heat wave as several lines in New York City were suspended in both directions. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority attributed the disruption to a network communications issue and said on Twitter around 6 p.m. that the NOS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 lines and that the Times Square shuttle were all affected. About 90 minutes later, it was reporting that service was slowly being restored. Servers are back up. Trains beginning to move. The abrupt interruption in service during the evening rush left passengers and city politicians alike fuming. It also underscored the widespread disruption on Friday was the second major infrastructure failure in the city in a week. A blackout on Tim Minton, the M.T.A.'s communications director, said in a statement that a total stoppage happened at 5:50 p.m. because of a failure in the computer system that powers our signals in the A division. The statement continued for safety reasons, trains were required to maintain their positions at the time of the interruption, and some of those trains were in between stations when that occurred. We worked to progress. He said service was starting to restore at 7:16 p.m., with substantial residual delays. Power for lighting and investigation of the root cause of this system failure is underway, he said. Service on letter. Maxine Wally, 29, a journalist for Women's Wear Daily, said it took 2.5 hours to go from Grand Central Terminal to her sister's house in the Prospect Lefferts Gardens neighborhood of Brooklyn. She said she waited 40 minutes for a number 5 train at Borough Hall that was stuck inside the station before switching to the B41 bus that was packed. One guy got onto the bus and he was saying he was going to pass out from the heat, Ms. Wally said in an interview. He was cursing at Trevina Brown and her friend paused in a busy area at the 14th Street Union Square station where the police had blocked off stairs to the NOS 4, 5, and 6 trains with yellow tape. A harried M.T.A. I am just trying to figure out what's going on, she said, explaining that she was trying to get to Soho. I don't really take H.A. McHugh. People had been sitting there, you could tell, he said. It was roasting hot. At Times Square, an M.T.A. employee in an orange vest guarded the 123 line and stopped passengers from taking the stairs. No train. Wilbeto Roman, 39, was at the Times Square station trying to take the number 2 train uptown, with plans to switch to the number 4 to get to his home in the Bronx, when he was diverted. So I've got to take the A train all the way past, and then take a cab home, he said, wiping his brow and lamenting the heat. We were sightseeing. Kirk Polias, 28, was trying to get to his home in the Bronx from the Upper East Side neighborhood. He ended up at time. I moved here almost 2 years ago from Houston and this is the most frustrating part of living here, he said of the subway disruptions. The transportation and New York City officials were calling for answers. This kind of meltdown during a heat wave is unacceptable. The M.T.A.'s Mr. Johnson said on Twitter that the city's office emergency management was en route to the M.T.A.'s rail control center. This is completely unacceptable at M.T.A. Services suspended. Nicholas Bogel-Burrows, Michael Gold, Sarah Mervash, Derek Norman, and Neil Vigdor contributed reporting.
Raindrop, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.